because it was like the one time during the shift that I got to like cook food that I wanted to make. And like when people are stoked about the food that you make and like the staff is like, you make a banging family meal and like all the staff is fired up and like you're the reason why everyone's fired up, like really changed the way that I looked at things.
Hello and welcome to Whipped Cream Salmon. His name is Ronnie Sanchez. My name is Brian Bastanza. Welcome back to another episode. We talk about food stuff and cooking and weird kitchen things and friends and all sorts of stuff. How are we doing today, Ronnie?
I'm doing great. Popping bottles. We mostly talk about fuckery. You left out the fuckery, and that's my favorite thing to talk about.
That's true. Food, friends, and fuckery. My bad. We've been up here chatting for a little bit before we started the episode. I refrained from showing Ronnie my cooler today, which is one of my favorite parts of the episode. But today, not only do I have 2 ice cold Singhas in my cooler, but I also have a pint filled with ice because I wanted to keep the ice cold for my crispy Thai beer, my crispy Thai Singha.
I'm also drinking a Singha, and I have a glass of ice. I have a bottle though.
Let's go.
But yeah,
that's nice. I like that.
If you don't know, in Thailand it's so hot that your beer gets cold really fast. So a lot of times they will drink their beer with ice, and I know it sounds like sacrilege, but it's a good time.
We don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck about what other people think.
We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, especially dumb Americans, dude. What do they know?
And I'm excited because it's the first time I've had ice in my beer since we got back.
I just fucking got beer all over my mic. Hold on a sec. There we go. A little soggy mic today. What's up with that?
That's okay. The boys are soggy.
The boys are a little soggy. Nothing wrong with that.
Soggy bottom boys.
Yeah. How was the week, Ronnie?
It was pretty good.
I know you did some fun stuff with food this week. And yeah, I'm excited to hear you tell the audience about it.
Fuck yeah. So, broke out the smoker again. I've been really on a roll with that. Dude, I've been getting hammered with this video of this guy doing a spatchcocked chicken on the smoker. And then it's some restaurant. I don't know the restaurant specifically, but they take the spatchcocked chicken off the smoker and then they dunk the whole thing in like a vat of like Alabama white barbecue sauce. And then they pull it out and like drip off the extra sauce and then serve it up. I think they throw it back on the smoker for like 5 more minutes and just kind of like, it's mayonnaise based, so it just basically melts onto the outside of it. And so I actually went to get a chicken, but they had spatchcocked chickens half off. So the spatchcocked chicken was actually cheaper, and it was like a organic free range spatchcocked chicken. It was like $10, and the other ones were $15 to $20. So like perfect. I can save me the work.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it came out awesome. It was so good.
Dude, it looks so fucking good, dude. So good. Like the deepest, like as GBD, golden brown and delicious as like it could possibly be. I don't even know if that's what you call it. It's more like, it has like this red hue to it, right?
Red, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I dry brined it overnight. I sent you that video of Alton Brown has this little like, what is it, like a USB charged fan that he like puts in his. I was just getting so much spatchcock chicken content, but yeah, actually Rochelle sent me this one, but he put a little like USB rechargeable fan in his refrigerator to like blow onto the spatchcock chicken. I didn't do that, but I did just dry brine it overnight to kind of cure it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Dry it out, and yeah, so good. Hit it with a dry rub the next day, and then made the white barbecue sauce with like, I didn't have any apple cider vinegar, but I did have a lot of pickle juice on hand.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah,
dude,
I like that.
It was fire. And then actually today we had half the chicken the other day, and then today we made the leftover chicken into enchiladas. So we had mole enchiladas, spatchcocked smoked chicken. It was good.
That's awesome. It looked great. Did you have a nice big old vat to dunk your chicken in, or what would you do? A little.
Dude, I didn't have that much mayonnaise on hand.
You usually have that much mayonnaise. That's why I asked. You're a big mayonnaise guy.
I'm not that big of a mayonnaise guy, but no,
He's a big mayonnaise guy.
I threw it. You're making me blush. No, I just threw it in a shallow half pan and kind of like, it was like a fat guy in a kiddie pool, just like sloughing water onto his stomach.
I like that.
That was how I did up the chicken.
I like that. Just get it wet, baby. I like that. I kind of.
I know you were cooking.
Yeah, but I was cooking a couple things. And actually, just since you just kind of told your chicken story, I did a similar thing last night where I had a chicken from the grocery store. I spatchcocked it. I think I did, right? Like, I mean, it's just taking out the backbone and flattening it, right? Mm-hmm. That's the definition. No more than that.
Yeah, you can. I took out the breastplate and stuff, but it
gotcha.
But actually, the one I got, it had that. It wasn't taken out, so I did have to do some work. I took out the fucking, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I just took the backbone out and dried it overnight in the fridge. And then I've been doing this. I think we may have talked about this on episode 1 potentially, but I've been doing this like slow tisserie, faux tisserie chicken roast. So as opposed to like a typical like, 350, 375 like chicken roast for whatever 35 minutes. This is a 2.5 hour, 285 to 300 degree roast. And dude, it just comes out like, in some senses, it's like overcooked, right? Like you're getting the temperature above 165, but it's like so fall apart that it's really a banger. And I pulled out some mole that I had in the freezer from when we did pork butt a month or 2 ago now. And yeah,
nice.
Haven't even eaten it yet. Just pulled it out of the oven, so gonna dive into that for sure.
We both did mole spatchcock chicken today.
Yeah, let's go, dude. I think our cycles are aligning.
We're synced up right now.
Yeah, I'd say. Dude, it's been so fun. I think like doing the pod is really like, I mean, I was always like cooking at the house, but I think I'm cooking more at the house.
Yeah.
Since we've been doing the pod, like just because like we're gonna talk about it, I like want to have a fun thing to talk about on the pod, and also like I think just talking about it makes it more likely to be thinking about it, and so that's been really great.
Yeah, it's been fun. We're doing it for you guys, for the listeners.
Yeah, for the listeners, dude.
This is not easy, but we're doing it for you.
A little for the tummies,
a little bit. I mean, we got to eat it afterwards, but it's mostly for you guys.
Yeah, they don't get the taste, but it's still for them. What else did we do? Oh, let's catch everyone up on Brian and Sammy's culinary country adventure.
The world tour.
I gave Sam Argentina to cook last week.
Nice.
So on Thursday night, she cooked up some Milanese, some pan-fried chicken breast, hammered down, flattened, and with some chimichurri, and served it with some potatoes, and
fuck yeah,
really good. Solid job,
delicious.
Sammy. Let's give Sammy a round of applause.
Let's go, Sammy. Very good.
A little. So I think there can be a lot of variation in chimichurri. I guess I've seen so many that I don't even know what it it should look like. Yeah. I guess. And hers came out like I don't know, like hers was like very loose with like chopped parsley and onion, and it was like vinegary.
Okay.
right? And it was like red from like paprika, and it was spicy. We served one at the catering company that was like more. It looked more like traditional pesto.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen them all in between, right? I've seen like one that was like more chunky vibes, but still like really bright green and parsley. This was not really like that, but it was great. And I don't know. I don't know what it should, or I mean, should is a strong word, right? Like cook food that's delicious for you, and that's all that matters.
Right.
But I am now curious to like go back and like, what are the roots of this dish?
Yeah, I think it also matters like how it's prepared. Like if you're doing kind of like a more rustic style, like all knife work, and it's just kind of like more loosely chopped um and then tossed in oil. I made it a little while ago, and I did it in the food processor, so it was a little bit. It wasn't emulsified, but it was definitely a little bit tighter. But it was pretty runny still. I mean, it definitely has like almost equal parts vinegar and oil.
Yeah. I think if you ask me my favorite, it would be like that kind of like real like chunked out, but like really green version with like
Yeah,
where you can like see the red pepper flakes in it. I like the look of that.
yeah, me too.
But I mean, make good food and put it in front of my face, and I'll eat it. Turns out, so doesn't have to be traditional or anything like that. Not even close.
Has she given you your assignment yet for next week or this week?
She did. She gave me Israel.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
You think so? I was pretty excited about it. I don't know a ton about it.
Matzo ball soup,
Yeah, there's like
brisket,
the I don't know. What are those fucking things? Those little roll ups.
dole. This starts at it's like dolomite.
Dolmes.
What is it? Dolmes.
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 We buy them from Trader Joe's. They're fucking delicious, dude.
Okay.
They come in like a tin with like 10 of them in a tin, and they're just like.
Are you supposed to eat them cold?
Yeah, I put like they like sell them in like the dry food section. I put them in the fridge when we get home because like I want them to be cold. They're delicious.
Gotcha. I think I only tried it one time, and I was really off put by it. Actually, I think it was one of those things like we went out to eat, and I think Rochelle had ordered some, and I did not know what it was or what to expect, and I fully thought it was going to be hot, and she like fed it to me, I'm pretty sure, and I was thinking it'd be hot and it was cold, and it totally threw off like everything that I was expecting, and I was like kind of like grossed out by it.
That's funny. I love them. They're like super like lemony and like kind of like briny. It's a lot of those like kind of Mediterranean type flavors, which is what I like. So I mean, I guess I don't really have a good angle of what to do with Israeli food right now, but I mean that's why we're doing this stuff, right? So we learn a new dish and find something new. But I mean, just generally in that region of the world, I find a lot of comfort in cooking that type with like using those ingredients. Your like lemons and your olive oils and your all sorts of stuff. It's
olives and dried fruits and
yeah. That's like where a lot of like my roots come from. Is
Mm-hmm.
like cooking that type of food, whether it's like Italian and like learning like French foods and like really like just the Mediterranean region, like those ingredients. So yeah, excited about that. So we'll see where that goes.
Fuck yeah, cool.
What else? We also did some gnocchi this week, which is fun that I kind of slapped together.
Oh, that's right. You did a sweet potato gnocchi, right?
Yeah, we had some sweet potatoes. Some of like the yellow flesh sweet potatoes. And I didn't even look up a recipe. I just was like, and it was late, and I was like, can I throw this together really quick? I don't want to really just eat, roasted potatoes like we kind of do often because we get produce delivery. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, we spent whatever. It's like $30 a week. It's just the two of us, and then they come by and they drop off whatever organic vegetables that they have. It's like Farm Fresh Carolinas. It's a cool program.
Like a CSA box, is that what it's called?
CSA, what is that?
I don't know. It's like a produce delivery box.
Yeah.
I forget what it stands for.
Yeah. So they come with like, I mean, often like potatoes, whatever. Sometimes they bring cabbage. Sometimes they bring some lemons and onions and garlic. Sometimes stuff like that. Sometimes they bring cool stuff and different squashes and strawberries and blueberries and all sorts of stuff. So pretty much, I mean, that's kind of, we do supplement some produce during the week, like when you go out and like want to like prepare some sort of specialty dinner, but otherwise like we just eat off whatever they wind up bringing us. So
Cool.
yeah, dry roasted these potatoes, scooped them out, a couple eggs, some flour, mixed it together. So it was like, I think there's parts of me that are like leaning more towards like I should be following recipes more often, and then there's like other parts of me that are just like, I could kind of freeball it, and like I would have typically always went out to find a recipe for something like gnocchi or pasta or something, but just the way that I was feeling, I was just like, I think just a couple of cups of flour and a couple of eggs and some dried sweet potato roasted, and yeah, it turned out pretty all right.
Sometimes you just gotta throw it together. I mean, I look at recipes all the time, but more often than not, I'm just kind of like either looking for like the order of operations or like just like what ingredients I'm looking for. I'm like, what
Right,
all goes into this,
right.
and then I kind of go from there. Um,
For a lot of like, let's say like maybe like the European style of cooking, like if you give me an ingredient list, I can probably figure out how to put it together in the way where like I'm pulling out like the most flavor from the ingredients. That's like what I think I'm kind of good at, is like,
yeah, for
you give
sure.
me some ingredients, I'm gonna try to pull out the most fat soluble flavors, the most like alcohol soluble flavors, like try to get everything out of it, cook it down, like, a little wine, a little lemon to brighten it up, like that type of stuff. Like I think I'm really good at. I think I start, and then I get challenged when we start looking at like Asian recipes, and I'm like, oh, this is way different than how I would have gone about getting flavor out of these ingredients. I think that about
Mm-hmm.
Indian food, where they're like have oil down and then they're putting the spices in first. I'm like, that kind of like blows my mind a lot of times, because like I wouldn't typically do that in like a French recipe.
Sure. What's really dope is when you can kind of like cross utilize things. Like I forget what I was making. It was probably a little over a year ago now, but I was making some kind of a pasta, and it was supposed to have like sardines. And I obviously I don't just keep sardines on me, but I do keep fish sauce, and I fucking threw some fish sauce in there, and dude, it made the dish like that sweet, salty umami. Like it just totally pulled it all together. I shouldn't say sweet; it's
Fuck
not
yeah.
sweet, but brightened it up. Dude, it was fire. But I did look up a CSA box. It stands for Community Supported Agriculture.
Okay. That's probably what this is then. I mean, it sounds exactly like that.
Yeah, no, it's got to be. I've heard of
Yeah, we like it.
doing that before.
Um,
So that's awesome that you guys have a good program.
and one more thing I have to go into is those thick boy pancakes I made Saturday morning, dude.
Oh yeah, Fat Boy pancakes.
Dude, fat boy pancakes. I have to shout out fucking Brian Lagerstrom again.
Thick with two C's.
Yeah, dude, double. Yeah. These are fucking Nicky thick, dude. Yeah, they were fucking boom. Dude, just like so much leaven, so much baking powder and baking soda that they just like spring up in nothing. I mean, that's like the kind of the key to the ingredient list, right? It's like, because you can do those like Japanese style pancakes where you whip the egg whites, and then you fold that in, which is good.
hmm
I don't think it gives it the same spring as when you just hammer it with baking powder. And these boys came out like, I don't know, probably like an inch thick. And
Yeah, they were pretty big.
I really liked them. Yeah, I feel like I've made a lot of different pancakes a lot of different ways, and these were kind of some of my favorites for sure.
Sick.
Pancakes are fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you get down with a lot of like different like breads and batter, and I don't really mess around with that quite as much. But
You've been smoking stuff, dude. I mean, I smoke other stuff, but you've been getting that smoke on like that.
yeah, also yeah, I bought a big ass chuck roast and broke that down the other day.
That's right.
And
Let's
yeah,
go. Yeah.
fucking pro tip: chuck roast. The center of it is called the chuck eye, and it basically just like runs off of the ribeye. And I, it's if it's not just as good as a ribeye, it's damn fucking close, and it's so much cheaper. I mean, this was like $7.99 a pound, I think, or something like that, which it was like on the higher end, but I mean, it was a nice roast. And the ribeyes, I think, were like $19.99 a pound, so more than double the price for the ribeyes. And out of that, I got two chuck eyes. I got three Denver steaks because the other part of that is the Denver cut. So I got three Denver steaks out of that, and then with the trim, I got like a little over a pound of ground beef that I ground up.
That's what's
And
up.
then we had cooked up some burgers on the flat top that were just super messy. They were they were very messy burgers, but they were good. And now the freezer's all full of beef, and yeah, stoked.
That's what's up. I mean, beef can be expensive, dude, and like butchers are like getting away with murder as far as like breaking that thing down and selling it. And like, don't get me wrong, like I'm glad they are because like I'm glad that people in the food service industry are getting paid out for the work that they're doing. But
Yeah,
like as like a home cook, like being able to like bring it like a chuck eye in and break that shit down is like fucking super dope and like can save you a ton of money.
yeah, it's awesome. And also, I mean, this kind of like stems into our topic. I really wanted to get into like talking about cooking family meal at work. Like,
Mm,
you know, when you're cooking family meal, you're very rarely getting to use good cuts of meat. You're not putting out ribeyes for family meal.
sure.
You're getting scraps of the ribeye and like trying to make that work. If it's like a stir fry or grind that up, and like I don't know, maybe you're making bolognese or something like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, you got to be resourceful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, family meal is like such an art when you like not only just like it's not like doing it once, you know. And we get the person who come in, it's their first day. It's like, all right, you're on family meal for the day,
Mm-hmm.
and then they do that the one time. But when you're just like you're in it and you're doing it 5, 6 nights a week, it can be challenging to be creative. And then like you also get people who are servers who are like, I don't know, get to this entitled point where they're like waiting for it and they're like tapping their fucking foot, waiting for you to like put up family meal. And it's just like nothing can piss you off more when you're like not your primary responsibility.
It's not easy to do.
It can be tough.
Yeah, or yeah, come back. Oh man, we're having this. Oh, like, or just something stupid. It's like, bro, what have you been doing? It's like
Yeah,
I've been here busting my ass. Like you just walked in the door, and now you're gonna complain about this free meal that you have. Like,
sure.
dude, get the fuck out of here.
Sure.
When you were,
And like nothing would piss me off more than nothing would push like I generally have this way about me that's like I'm really interested in food. I'm excited about food. I want to talk about food. I want to try new things. But like you also like never hear me complaining about food that was given to me like ever by anyone.
yeah,
You know, like of course like if I go out to a nice meal and it's like doesn't live up to the expectations of what I thought it was going to be, I'm like kind of have an opinion about that. But like never would I ever like if someone like offered me food at their house and I'm eating it, like would never be like ungrateful like that. So like when someone comes in and you're like giving them food that like you had to like kind of like really work at to make it as good as it could be because you're not given the good ingredients, like you said,
yeah,
and like people are like complaining about it, like nothing would piss me off more.
right,
And I will fucking drop kick you if you come into the kitchen fucking complaining about family meal I just put up for sure.
right. And sometimes you're really working with like some bare bones shit. Like for those that don't know, like family meal is really common in. I mean, just about every restaurant that I've ever worked at, where the cooks prepare some kind of a meal for the entire staff. When Brian and I were working at Plumpjack, we kind of touched on it is a hotel and a restaurant. So you're cooking for not only everybody in the restaurant, the servers, the busboys, the dishwashers, all the other cooks, the chefs, the managers, but you're also cooking for the hotel staff. And it wasn't like a huge hotel, but I mean, there was still staff, still more mouths to feed. And then also a lot of times, if there was a banquet, you would have banquet staff that kind of was always irritating because they were always like the first in line for family meal. They would show up at like 4 or 5 o'clock or whatever, and they'd just be like in line. Oh, I'm here to eat my dinner. And they'd work, go to like set up the banquet, like put tablecloths down and like roll silverware or whatever, and they'd work like a 3-hour shift. But yeah, I mean,
piled that shit on too.
Oh yeah, they were the first ones in line.
Piling on their plate. It's disgusting. They are filthy animals. Yeah.
The first one's back for seconds. Yeah, man. And then like, and sometimes you got like really limited resources, and there's a lot of times where like I made family meal, and by the time like I like had a chance to go get myself a plate, it was all fucking gone. So, and that's just the way it goes. When you were, coming up in the restaurants, like, and you first were like put in charge of like making family meal, how was that for you? How did you handle that?
Oof. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where you're like, you're gonna do it because you have to do it, right? And you're like, you're gonna figure out how to make it happen, whether you know how to and have a good good head on your shoulders or not. I think I think by the time I was like really like required to be a family meal expert, I think I already like had been cooking for a little bit, which is definitely like an advantage, like going into it, like, cause I like, I had worked in a restaurant where there was someone who was in charge of family meal. That was like his role. This is like a very interesting situation, but like, this dude's role was like receiving. He would like receive all the produce and all the meat and everything and check everything. And then like his other responsibility was like cooking family meal. Super interesting role. Pretty fun.
Like my dream job.
Kinda, but like
sounds awesome.
You say that until like you're doing like, dude, you ever like, when you're just getting like dick punched and like orders are just coming in like, like, like Cisco got here and your meat purveyor got here and your fish purveyor got here, and they just fucking stacked like floor to the ceiling boxes, and you're just like,
that's true.
The last thing you want to do is fucking put away stuff because you have like a list full of like of prep to do anyway, and you're just like running to try to get that stuff. So it is not a bad job, especially when you don't have a big old prep list to do. I think it is a pretty cool job. So like I had been able to see some family meal stuff. I think there's times, especially like as a bar cook at like Plum Shacks, that it was really frustrating for me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, like kind of like what we're saying, like, you're like not really feeling that people are being grateful of the food that you're giving them. So that like kind of gives you a chip on your shoulder for that reason, but like also you're just getting like rocked anyway, and like, especially that station doesn't really have a traditional, like, we open at 5, right? So like the way that worked was like that station would open at 10:30 or 11 for
breakfast.
Maybe earlier than that, right? Maybe 9 they would do breakfast. Maybe 8 they would do breakfast, and then that would roll right into lunch, and then you'd continue serving that menu all the way through dinner. So, and then you get that added bit of, we're in a ski town, so 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you're like après ski. So like it can be like really busy around like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
So the mountain's closing up, people are getting off the mountain,
Yeah, and then family meals required to be up at 5, and you have a board full of tickets. I mean, it's not every night, but a lot of nights it can definitely be like that.
Yeah.
So that can be tough, and when you're not getting help for that can be really tough. I will say though, like in other times in my career, I like really enjoyed the family meal stuff, because sometimes like the mundaneness of making the menu every night, you're just like, oh, like, well, I can like really be creative and have some fun with the staff. And like, especially like once I kind of leveled up a little bit and like maybe went from being like a bar cook to being like, I don't know what you want to call it, like a more senior cook, or like a leadish, like
The lead line.
kind of lead line cook, you know, and then like eventually to like management and like Sue stuff. Like you kind of really take pride in that, and like it's also an opportunity to like show the staff that you're working with like either some cool food or like just like, I don't know, just like just treat them in a way. So I can really like, have really like that part of it, but
For sure.
it's not fun every night, that's for sure. Some nights it's really fun, some nights it's really tough.
Yeah, you did touch on it, that the bar line at Plum Jack, it was very difficult. You know, a lot of times from the second you walk in, you know, the morning crew is on the line. They've got a full board of tickets. Like you get in, you're like trying to help restock the line. You're trying to like get things cleaned up. Sometimes like fucking the trash is like overflowing. Like you get in the trash, like a new bag in the trash. You're trying to get the day set up, and then you've got like a prep list. Or if the morning guy's just been so busy, like he hasn't even started to make a prep list. Like sometimes you got to kind of get a prep list going, and then you know as you're going in and out of the walk-in, you're taking a look at like what is on the family meal shelf. So like right from the get-go, you're like starting to think about it, get the wheels turning. You know, like what do I have going on? And then you know you're trying to bang out prep, bang out family meal. Maybe if I need to, you know, dice carrots for the line, maybe I'm like also, you know, dicing some extra that I'm going to put in towards family meal, you know. And yeah, early on when I was like really, that was the first time that I was ever really on a line like that, and I was trying to like balance everything and figure out the flow. And I used to get very frustrated because you know you're looking at the dining room line, and like those guys are like they're busy in their prep, they got a lot more shit, but they're also like kind of chilling a little bit over there, and you feel like you're getting your ass handed to you. And it's just kind of like one of those things. It was like a coming of age, and really like earning your keep in that restaurant. And I remember there's one day I was just like, I was having a rough fucking time. I was getting my ass kicked from every which direction. I had a lot of prep. Um, and, you know, the bar was just like auto assigned to make family meal, which like, even now, like it still never made any sense to me. Like that bar line is the busiest. If you can like run that line, you can really like hang like any line in America. I feel like honestly, I mean, um,
Sure.
and I was just like getting my ass kicked, and I was really frustrated. And you know, I was probably like slamming pans, and probably had a shitty attitude. And our chef Jack, he came over. He had like printed out a page that he like photocopied out of the French Laundry Cookbook, and the page it's titled like "The Importance of Family Meal" or something. And he like fucking photocopies it and like sets it on my station as I'm like having a hissy fit. You know, I'm fucking pissed.
Oh my god.
Dude, it took everything I had not to like rip that thing to shreds. And then he just kind of like looked me in the eyes, and he was like, just you know, just read it. And I think I took like a moment, or like that was the other thing. You went in there, you had to take your break. You were assigned like,
That's California shit. Yeah.
yeah, California law, but like the ski resort had also been sued just a couple years earlier, and they had to pay like massive fines. So the restaurant was like really strict about like you had to take your break. So you got to work, you had to take your 30-minute break, and to like get all your prep and everything else out in like a 2-hour window, and like family meal had to be up.
An hour and a half to prep, basically, and create and make family meal.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, can I come in earlier? No, like we can't, like we're not doing that because then we're paying you too much. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like really fucking pissed at the time. But then I took my break and I read that, and that's something that like it always like really stuck with me. Um, and I'm like really grateful for it now. And it really changed the way that I looked at family meal. And it became, instead of something that like I had to do, it became something that I got to do, because it was like the one time during the shift that I got to like cook food that I wanted to make, and I got to be creative, and I got to like, you know, my favorite thing is to cook for people, you know, but specifically cook my food for people. You know, it's one thing to like flip a burger and give it to a bar patron that you never get to see. But like when you get to like make your own food, it's a little bit different. And like when people are stoked about the food that you make and like the staff is like, you make a banging family meal and like all the staff is fired up and like you're the reason why everyone's fired up, like really changed the way that I looked at things. And so like even once I like got promoted from the bar line and I made it onto the dining room line, I'm like, you see a lot of real shit family meals going up, you know? And if I had time, like I would just take the initiative and I would make family meal because A, I enjoyed it, and B, I didn't want everybody eating some shitty family meal that, you know, was like fried rice and it was like 6 pounds of rice like in a, you know, a deep 600 hotel pan, which is like Uncle Ben's rice and like chopped carrots and soy sauce. It's like, and that like a lot of times like that was the kind of family meals that get put up in places. And even later on in my career, like when I was at Lulu's, like I pretty much like spearheaded family meal. Like no one else would even do it. One like the like head cook, like he never made a fucking anything. And there we were only open for dinner, so I got to like do a lot more. I got to be more creative with it. Like I made a fucking like corned beef that I like cured over like 10 days or something. Had that going in the walk-in, and I got really good at making like I got really good at making super generic Chinese food, like classic American Chinese food, like General Tso's, orange chicken, kung pao chicken.
It's great. It's so good, dude. A little velveting, yeah.
I don't know why I just got really good at that one. Yeah, velveting chickens.
Velvet that shit. Explain to the people about velveting because I feel like everyone should know how to do that shit.
Yeah, so when you go to a Chinese restaurant and like get like your beef and broccoli, and the beef is like just super soft, like it's like slippery almost, you know, like
slippery seal, yeah.
Yeah, so it goes through what's called the velveting process, and there's a couple different ways that you can do this. One way to do it is you marinate the beef in like your like oyster sauce. Like I think okay, like if I'm gonna make like beef and broccoli, I think you slice the meat thin, and then you toss it in cornstarch, oyster sauce, soy sauce, white pepper, and an egg yolk. Or no, I'm sorry, an egg white. And the enzymes in the egg white will like break down the meat and make it super tender, and it'll give that like soft, smooth, super tender texture. I think you can also do it with baking soda, but I haven't done that. But I do think that it's also a common way to velvet the chicken or chicken, beef, pork. You can do it with any protein.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I'm so interested to hear you say what you said about like about Jack coming by and dropping that on your station because I would have been furious if like in that state
I was.
If like you come over and you're just like you're probably like, and I can tell like the way that you're feeling, you're like, you should be making a family meal, right? Like that's probably like would have been the first thing that came across my head. Like
I was hot.
You're gonna drop this thing on my fucking station. Like you fucking make a family meal, right? Like
right. You had time to go make photocopies,
yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
I was hot. I think I had like crumpled it up, and then I saw him and I ended up uncrumpling. But yeah, I was hot in that moment for sure.
Do you know or remember what was like on that piece of paper or anything that like really stood out to you that you like go back to at times?
I have in the stack behind me. I do have the French Laundry Cookbook in there, so I could pull it up.
We'll throw like an expert in the show description for sure. And actually, like
yeah, that's a good idea.
While I'm saying that, like I think we're gonna try to do a lot better job of putting like whatever recipes we're talking about in the show description, anything like that can be referenced. So
yeah,
check that out for sure.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think, I mean, it was kind of a lot of like along the lines of what I was talking about, of like elevating the mood of the staff, you know, and like how important it is to like give your staff like a good meal to lead up so everyone is energized and happy, you know. What I know one of the other restaurants, the restaurant I was a sous chef at, for some reason they did family meal after shift, and so you'd be getting your ass kicked all night, and then you'd have to fucking cook them food in like a thrashed kitchen. I was like, dude, this is garbage. That was so dumb, dude. I hated that. Like
That's fucking trash tier. Yeah.
everyone's trying to clean up, and you're like got these guys making food for everyone right now. Like this is stupid.
Oh, that's trash.
So dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. I hated that.
Yeah.
That was the
That's
worst
crazy.
restaurant I ever worked at.
So when I started, I mean, so I think I was pretty good at like, I mean, same as you. Like some nights were really fun to make family meal. Some nights at Plum Jacks, like definitely like rough time to get through family meal. Um, I think so. When I went and I started working at Azul,
Mm-hmm.
the menu was like much more rigid, right? It was like this is the menu. It's not really going to change. If it does change, it's going to like take like a low performing menu item off the menu, and we're going to put a higher or what we think is going to be a higher performing menu item on the menu. And that's like
Right.
the type of menu stuff that gets changed. It's not like it's not seasonal. It's not whatever. It's not like, and if you like come up with a special, like you have to either sneak it in on a day where like no one else is really working and someone fun is working in the front of the house, or like it's probably not going to happen. We do a little bit of that, but really not too much of that. But at that time, like that's when I like really leaned into cooking family meal. Not that I didn't at Plum Jacks, but like we just had a couple kids that were like really interested in food, which is fun, but it wasn't the place for that really.
Yeah.
But I mean, but like you can really have some fun with the morning staff do. And like at that time I was doing like morning staff. So I'd like get there at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and we'd like be eating family meal at like 10, let's say. We open for lunch at 11, 10:30, 11, I think 11. So we make like chili rellenos. We tried that like a bunch of different ways. We did like, you know, eggs Benedict. We were making hollandaise. We were like doing all sorts of fun stuff. And even the stuff that's like to you and I is like very simple to like a young cook who like is just starting to get excited about food. Like if you can show them like a really legit way to make French toast, that's like I don't know if it's like really impactful on their life, but it's like something that like opens their eyes, which is like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you lose sight of that as you get like deeper into your career and you start like, I don't know. There's times when you're like, there were times when like something as simple as like a pancake or a French toast was like so exciting. And you're like, whoa, that's doing that. And like all of that. And that's how you do that. And like,
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
maybe, you know, it's easy to lose sight of that as you like grow and you're like it takes more and more like, um, exotic ingredients and techniques to get you like truly excited. So, um, but like to your point, it's like not really about you. It's about like who you're serving it to. And like, I mean, it's not just about family meal. Like I think that about like it's my favorite way to express love for anyone that I'm with is to like cook them food. I mean,
Same.
I like
100%.
in a lot of ways I don't know that I'm that good at expressing love for other people, but like I know that like if I can like offer that, I know that like is really important to me and like the friendships that I have and the family stuff that I have. And you know I've also always like kind of found it to be like this like social cheat code where you like you're being social but you're like kind of not because you're busy in the kitchen a lot of times, but
Yeah.
but you can like so you can express your love even like at times like when I'm feeling like introverted, I like can still do that and like still express my love for the people that I'm with without having to like be in constant conversation and that type of stuff, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's spot on. Absolutely. Um, what were some of like the worst family meals that you can remember being put out, or that you've been like, I kind of didn't really like touch on too much. Like the family meal shelf is like a lot of like whatever is left over. Like sometimes there's a banquet and maybe there's like fucking 6 chicken breasts left over from the banquet, and like that's on the family meal shelf. And then there's like a half a quart container of, I don't know, some rice, and there's like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Sometimes, like it can be all kinds of shit. Sometimes you get like, oh fuck yeah, ribeye scraps. Like I can actually do something with that, But like sometimes it's pretty rough. So like
Sure.
sometimes you get some pretty shitty
Pretty bleak.
family
Yeah.
meals, depending on who's gonna be cooking and what they're tasked with and what they're given.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some bad ones that you've seen?
Hold on. Just the
You got something flying around in this room?
the fucking biggest fucking crack of thunder just went off. Like, and it just like shook the whole house. So
Oh, really?
this might make it. I think this will make it into the episode, but like I want to pause to let that settle for a second. Dude, there's been some rough ones. The one that I think that you and I joke about the most is the saffron rice pizza. So, yeah, Plum Jacks, we used to do pizzas every Friday. So the pastry chef would like we always had pizza on the menu, like little rounds. What were they like? Were they 10-inch? Maybe smaller than that. 8-inch pizzas? Yeah, something like
Something like that, yeah. It's smaller, yeah. Eight. I'd say probably 8 inch.
probably eights. But then also on Friday he would make pizza dough we would do like big sheet pan style pizzas, right? So, we'd have a bunch of sauce. We always had a bunch of sauce because we had like kids menu with like red sauce, and we also usually like had some other maybe red sauce items on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have that. We'd grind up a bunch of cheese, and we'd put together, I don't know, a dozen pizzas, maybe not that many, but on a busy Saturday, like definitely like, or Friday, it would be like, a dozen sheet pan pizzas, and
Yeah.
you'd get some wonky stuff on those. Depending on who was on family meal that day, like you could get some stuff that was really good, some stuff that was really not that good, and some stuff, I mean, a lot of stuff kind of in the middle, but like whatever, anything ranging from like, any sort of like ground beef or sausage and vegetables. There'd be a lot of like good kind of pizzas like that. Maybe we had some like pesto. We threw it on a pesto pie. Um, but this one that we always come back to talking about is this like Jake saffron rice pizza. Is fucking hilarious. You have leftover saffron rice from a Indian dinner, an Indian wedding, I believe, and
Oh yeah, you're probably
when
right.
that makes it onto a pizza pie, it is so laughable. It's the little things that makes us happy, huh?
Well, what made it so funny was one of the dining room cooks. He's got his plate of pizza and he's sitting on his station, and he goes, "Jake, this is the worst saffron rice pizza I've ever had in my life." It was so funny. Yeah, I mean, they did want us clearing off the family meal shelf as much as we could, but he took that way too literally that day, and he was just like, whatever was on there was going on pizzas, and it was like,
Yeah,
it's pretty rough.
I don't fully disagree with that. Like, because you are going to end up like, and I've put out some, like, especially like pizza night, like I've put out some things that like don't usually go on pizza.
Sure.
Like that's for sure.
But
this happens to be one of the more egregious versions of,
with some discretion.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like truly bad family meals. So I remember the morning guys doing this, like, and this wasn't a one-time thing. They'd have like some chicken wings, and they put together a chicken wing, like Mexican chicken wing soup, dude. This shit was gnar version. Yeah.
Yeah, they would also, we always had like bags of chicken feet on stock, because when you're making like chicken stock, feet are really good for the stock because there's a lot of like collagen in the feet, and it makes it like very like thick and gelatinous. And yeah, but if they got their hands on it, it would go straight into the soup, and you go into that back break room if you got in early enough. Or like there was times where like during the summer, like I would work the morning shift, like family meal would come up, and it's just like a fucking pot of chicken feet and like whole jalapenos in there. And then you go in that back break room, and they're all sitting there just like laughing and joking. Everyone's just sucking on chicken feet, and I was like, yeah, I think
sucking on a fucking chicken toe, dude.
I think I'm gonna pass on this one, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for the record, like we had some chicken feet in Bangkok at some side cart. That was pretty fire.
For day one,
dude, that first meal that we
so
had some floating chicken feet in this noodle soup. It was fire.
Dude, I recorded myself saying the name of that soup because I wanted to remember.
It's probably just like chicken noodle in English.
Yeah, no. Well, that was the thing. Because you would ask everybody there, like, "What is this called?" And they just say chicken noodle soup. Like that's
technically
there is noodles in there and chicken, but it is
say your mama's Campbell's soup. Yeah,
it is. Hold on, I got it right. I got it right here. Listen.
Gotiao gai.
Gotiao gai gong.
Gai is chicken.
Gai is chicken. And yeah, it was really good. But yeah, there was also blood cakes in there, which I did taste. But
they're delicious.
That was good. Yeah. It was good after I tasted it. I did the thing. But the soup, the broth, and everything, that was so good.
So good. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely been served, and I mean, I'll be just honestly, like I've definitely served some subpar family meals too when you're just given nothing to deal with. We do a lot of like shepherd's pie stuff, which is not bad. It's just like a really quick way to like feed a lot of people, which is nice. Yeah. Do you have any like that are like really bad ones that you can remember?
I remember I was given like a bunch of leftover short ribs, and this was like early into my career of like having to cook family meal for everyone, and the short ribs were probably already like falling apart, and I like reheated them, added more beef stock to them or whatever, and when it came out of the oven, like they were just like disintegrated, and it was just like sludge. There was no structure left to these things. It was just like fucking sludge. And I think I put that out, and then somebody immediately said something about it, and then I like threw it in the trash, and then I don't know, I probably made spaghetti or something like super quick. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was inedible. I mean, it was there's no structure to it. Oh man.
Yeah. No, I don't want to be like nothing's really super coming to my mind right now, but I wish it was. Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably make some bad family meals in the future too for myself.
Sure. Sure. It hurts more now.
Yeah.
You like put in effort and like, this sucks. Did not turn out how I wanted it to.
Yeah. I mean, that happens fairly. I wouldn't, not every time. I mean, like, often cooking nowadays, like, it hasn't turned out the way that I saw it. I envisioned it,
Sure.
And that's either from, like, not following a recipe all the way or just, like, still figuring out the dish, I mean, we will continue to figure out dishes into the future, and I think, like, when a fire's lit and you're like cooking for some people that like you're really excited to cook for, like you're gonna, I'll be a little safe in those situations for the most part, right? But when I'm cooking for like myself or for maybe like me and Sam, we definitely like take some risks, and those don't always pan out, which is fine. That's how we figure stuff out.
Well, and a lot of times too, like, yeah, at home it can be tough, like depending on like what kind of burners you've got and the heat, it's like just not coming together the way that you wanted, But like before I got my dual burner set up outside, and I tried to do, stir fry or, whatever. I would be making something in the wok, and it's on an electric burner. Like your heat's pretty minimal. And like my last place, it would like pulsate. The stovetop would like pulsate, so it would get like red hot, and then like the coil would like die back down. I was like, no, I need that. I need that heat back. Come on, you know? So yeah, sometimes you got like a stir fry going or something, and you throw all your meats in there, and then it's just like your pan just goes ice cold, and then things end up getting overcooked because you got them in the pan for too long before it like gets actually reduced to where you need it to go, and so it's just the struggles of working out of your home kitchen, try to accomplish things that people make in restaurants.
Well, I think that brings us to this week's idiot sandwich. Let's go.
What are you? Idiot.
You stupid idiot.
I'm an idiot sandwich.
You're an idiot. Of all the idiots, you stand alone.
Idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich. Who's going to earn their place between two slices of bread today?
I got a funny one for my boy Josh Birdman. Plum Jacks.
Let's go, Birdman.
Yeah, this is great. This is a funny one. This is a pretty quick one, but so we always had like fries on the bar line. So we'd make, a bunch of fries. They were made to order. You generally always have a couple fries left, right? And those fries would typically like end up in a bowl sitting under the heat lamp for servers who were passing by to eat, or cooks to eat. We ate a ton of fries working that station. So there's this one day, and like I think we all like have had this feeling where like you keep putting up burgers, there's always leftover fries, you keep fucking eating fries, and like you get to this point where you're just like disgusted. You're just like, I cannot eat more fries. So instead of eating them, I'm gonna take this bowl and I'm going to throw it in the trash can. And this one day, like Josh is just sitting there, and I think he had just thrown the bowl of fries into the trash probably like a minute or two before, and it was like a full trash, right? So there's like fries like sitting on the top, and like he's just fucking eating fries off the fucking top of the trash. And it was probably like a piece of cardboard that was sitting up top, but he's just like leaning over the trash, just like eating fucking garlic fries out of the trash.
Well, the kicker was we're all standing around each other, like actively in conversation.
Yeah, no one noticed,
and he's just like casually.
Yeah,
no
one noticed right away, and I think it was either I think Elisa, or I want to even say like maybe Cara said something like, Birdman, are you fucking eating fries out of the trash, you dirtbag? Like, it's so good, dude. It's so funny because it's like it was just like on the top, but like super not cool to be doing. Like, but, I mean, we don't really care. Like, but it was just a really fun one.
But really, the key to that was that he like was doing it like unconsciously.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like
he didn't even realize what he was doing. We were just in conversation, and he was just sitting there popping fries in his mouth straight out of the trash can.
So ridiculous. Yeah, maybe a little stony baloney. Maybe we just came back from a safety meeting. We smoked a little weed. We came back inside and crush some trash fries,
trash fries.
Really good. So Birdman, congratulations. You are our idiot sandwich of the week.
It was so funny. So funny.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, I got one from Lulu's. The dishwasher there, his name is Elmer. He's this Hispanic guy. He's got this like big old gut, and he was just like, that guy just talked all the time. He just loved to talk. He was like usually in like a pretty good mood, and he'd just talk to you about fucking anything. And he was also like the handyman there, so like he'd been like working with the owners for a really long time. He would go to their house and do projects and stuff like that as well for them, whether it was like landscaping or plumbing or like helping them like open. They had a couple restaurants, helping them like do any kind of construction there. And so just like one of his tasks, he was just vacuuming the restaurant before service. and he was wearing like a button down t-shirt, and he was like out in the dining room and he was vacuuming, and I think he saw something, maybe a fork or something underneath the table, and he gets down on his hands and knees and he gets like reaching underneath the table, and his shirt got vacuumed up into the vacuum and it split. And it ripped his shirt from the bottom of his shirt all the way up past his nipple. And he comes in like, oh man, what the fuck? Look at my shirt, man. He's just got his guts hanging out, and it's like, dude, his whole nipple's hanging out. Oh my God, it was so fucking funny. So, Elmer, I don't know if you really deserve this one, but it was pretty funny seeing you come back there with
Was it Elmer? Is his name?
Elmer, like the glue.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. So, Elmer, enjoy your sandwich, buddy.
Congratulations, Elmer. You did great.
All right, man. That was a good episode. That was fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. Again, thanks everyone for listening. We are live. This is an exciting day actually for us. We're actually live for the first time. It is July 23rd. You're probably not going to hear this episode till mid-August, but we're really excited to have launched today, and a lot more to come. Again, check the show notes for recipes or tidbits that we talk about during the episode. I think we're gonna start trying to be a lot better at that, at dropping stuff in the description. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and
for sure.
Yeah, thanks, and keep follow our pod, and we love you.
Yeah, stay creamy.
Stay creamy, y'all.
Love you.
Later.
Bye.